Hey, what's up guys? Today's video is going to be about us repairing this EREVO. So I bought two savox servos here. So this is a black edition. There's a couple of numbers right there if you want to get this particular one. This is the same thing. So both boxes are the same thing. And the problem I'm having is the servos on this EREVO, they gave up several times. So it's very critical for you to align the front suspension to the servos when you're replacing them. So what I'm going to do in this video is we're going to remove the 4 bolts. Let me get something to pinpoint everything. So we're going to remove these 4 bolts there. So 1, 2, 3, 4. This servo will come out, but also in the bottom we're going to remove this protector here. There's a small bolt right in the middle there. Same thing on the opposite side, but we're going to follow these lines to see which one attaches inside here, because there's 2 connectors in there. We're gonna remove the open up this box as well. So all you hear in these, both of these servos are crrr. The gears are broken. I fixed the gears, replaced the servo, broke again and again. I spent more than having 2 servos with the metal gears. I got metal gears for these. Bad idea, because even those, well, did not fit in there. But anyways, we're going to remove this completely. We're going to make this process very easy and simple. And we're going to align everything. And we're going to connect everything with the new servos. And that's about it. And we're going to take out this screw here. This one right there. And that one in the bottom. This and this holds the motor in. And also we're going to take off this cover by taking out this little bolt right there. Okay, so that's everything. Okay, so let's start off on the bottom. We're gonna take this little guy off. If you don't want to take this off, you can simply reach in there, but let's make more clearance here. We're gonna simply take this screw off. One on the opposite side. Okay, once you have both of these off, you're gonna have much more clearance right there. And let's put this to the side. Also, let's take this one in the center here. There you go. Make sure you save that. Another thing I'm gonna do is I am gonna take off this little guy right there, because we're gonna do something to align this little guy. Like that. Let's take that. That's gone. So our linkages here should come off. Same thing on the other side. So pretty much I'm gonna take this off, take this off, take this off, and one in the middle, and this should come off. Okay, once we have everything off, what you're gonna do is you can take off these right here. So make sure you keep them in order, because the right one is different, left one is different. So keep them just like that. Alright, so now we need to flip this over. Okay, now we got the EREVO upside down. I mean, facing straight up. We're gonna remove the 4 bolts. Make sure you keep the servos in order as well, because whatever you unplug, you have to plug back in the same slot into that receiver box. All right, so once you have these loose, and you're gonna do the same thing for this side. Alright, so I'm going to get all these off, 2, and there's one here and one there, and both servos should be released. Once you have removed all 4 of these bolts, they look something like that with a rounded off head. These servos should freely move, just like that. Alright, so they're both loose, but you're not going to be able to open this box up so easy. The way I usually do it is, I have done it a few times. You're going to take off this bolt. Make sure you use the same hole where you took it off from. That's how you align the motor. You don't need to do like a gap between the pinion and the spur gear. But anyways, and also one in the bottom. To get to the bottom one, you do need to take off 1 and 2 of these, and this vent will come off. So what we're going to do is we're going to simply take off that bolt right there. that bolt right there. Once you have both of these off, this guy is gonna start to move around, and you should be able to, let's take this out of the way, you should be able to wiggle it out. Okay, this locks into this tray here, and there you go. Let's put this to the side just like that. Anyways, going furthermore, we're gonna take off the motor next, but first we need to take off this screw here so the cover can come off. So next I got my Allen key sitting right there. I'm gonna remove this little screw right there. We should be able to take off this motor cover once this is out of the way. The bolt right down here is gonna be the hard one. That's gonna be the hardest bolt. So let's take this out of there. And there you go. You got the spur gear and the pinion gear in there. Okay, next what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to reach that out of there somehow. So I have to get it out of there, so I'll match up a tool. Okay, so let me hold my camera here. So I did match up this. This is let me tell you the size on this. 3mm, okay. And if you want to use a small extension, you can use it, or you're gonna hit in the back there. But anyways, I'm gonna get this little bolt out of there. Even if you get that little angle, you can slide it to one side. Alright, there you go. It is very critical when you put the two linkages together on the servo. You have to have the controller on, have everything centered, and then put that on. I'm going to show you exactly how to do it when we get to that point. Let's take this out of here, and hopefully the same socket fits up here. Yep. Once this is out of the way, you should be able to yank that motor out easily and fairly. Make sure you do not lose this plastic piece in the center, because if you lose that, you're gonna not be able to line anything. So let's put that to the side there. Okay, and the motor, you should be able to yank this out of there just like that and let it sit to the side. So we're gonna take off a few more bolts. So we're gonna take this one right there. All this protects it, the receiver from getting water in it. So make sure if you have the gel, use the gel. If you don't have it, try to make it as perfect as possible. And let's just pop open that receiver box as well. I'm sure there's another way without taking out the motor. You should be able to remove this receiver box from the, there's got to be a bolt in the bottom, but I'd rather just do it this way. I've done it this way a few times just to get to this receiver, to get wiring out of there. A little bit more on this screw. So the blue seal, very important. Make sure this blue seal sits properly when you close everything back together. Same thing, you see that little bit of grease there? That's protecting water from going inside this little guy. So anyways, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull off one of the cables. Let's see which one this is. We're gonna have to fish out. Okay, so this one I'm playing around with is this one right here. So let me just yank this one out of there. I don't want to disturb the housing of the rest of the cables, so take very carefully, pull one off just like that. Got that one out of there. Okay, so I'm gonna go get a new receiver and I'm gonna put everything back together. I'm gonna plug it back in for the first receiver. Okay, so I popped open the box and came across this little problem. So if you're gonna get one of these, okay, you're gonna have issue with the cable. I'm gonna get some adapters and we'll put everything back together. So I do need to get a few adapters there. So probably it's gonna be a wire coming from here to there. Okay, so no worries, not a big deal. Okay guys, so what we're gonna do is I am gonna cut the cables off the old servos and we're gonna reattach them. You see this? There is a negative, plus, and signal. Okay, so we have one over here, you can see the reader right there. So just follow along. The black one on this one is a negative. The red one is going to go in the center, which is the signal. I'm sorry, this is the positive. S is signal. So this is pretty much, that's how I'm going to do it. Because I'm going to cut these wires, put them together, and we're going to throw these in there. Okay, since we're going to cut the wires, it's very simple. We can close this whole thing back. And you're not gonna have to do all this if you want to follow my instructions. Just I made a mistake because I didn't know the cable was gonna be this short. All right. Other than that, I would have never had taken it out, and I would have just went along just the way it's supposed to be, and we could have just cut the wires over here and swap everything out here. That could have been much simpler. All right. But while you're in here, you might want to just take a look at your gears. Okay, this looks pretty good. There's not much to check. Corrosion has been sitting in there. Anyways. Let me put all this back together. To put this back together, it's very simple. Put the wires in, plug it in, close this up, put the motor in, put the bolt here, put the bolt there, put your air vent right there, and then we'll continue with the rest of the stuff. Okay, we got the EREVO here, and we got two new savox servos working. Okay, so not that you have seen that I have two working servos. But let's go back and take a look how I installed the whole thing and what I used here, because you don't want to damage anything. I damaged few servos, very critical to do it right, very critical to line them. So watch my video till the end and let's start from the beginning. So we did the complete job, and now fire up your EREVO, make sure everything is working. You've seen that I did the wirings on these, both of these. All right. So they turn opposite direction, okay? So when I turn to left, this servo turns that way, and this one turns that way. So they both pretty much turn opposite of each other. All right, so now what we're gonna do is, remember these little guys, like I told you, do not mix them up. So right now, all I'm gonna do is I am gonna put this right in the center. So try to get it perfect as possible. Okay, and as you can see, there you go. So it should be perfect. Okay, perfect there. That looks good. A little bit off. All right, there you go. I like it right there. So I'm gonna leave both of those in that place, and I'm gonna lock both the bolts up. So these are the little bolts, okay, the ones that we have left behind. 1 and 2. If you want, you could use a little bit of third lock. It's all up to you. But you see what I'm doing? I'm not gonna go all the way because you do not want it. You want to put your finger, you want to hold this as you turn, okay? So I'm not gonna be able to do that with my camera in my hand. So hold here and lock up the bolt, because you don't want to go against the motor of the servo. Same thing here. So I'm gonna snug them, and then off the camera a little bit, I'm gonna hold it and lock it up. Just make sure, like these, I think I like it where they're at, so they're perfectly about straight as possible. Okay, I want to say one thing. So make sure everything is absolutely straight. So the way I like to do it is I like to look at how these two are sitting, pretty much like right there. They're right there. It's pretty good. So if I can adjust these little bit, you could do it a whole bunch of different ways. You could adjust it from here and make it come even, or you can move these around a little bit. And also make sure your steering here trim is perfectly centered, okay? And pay attention to how everything is looking, because you don't want to make that one little mistake. And make sure your wheels are perfectly straight. Okay, this looks good to me. Sometimes you need to adjust it here. So you see how the holes in the center, my bolt will drop dead center right there for both of these. Okay, so that's what you're looking at, and this is perfect. I still need to put the bolts in. Another thing I want to explain is these servos, they're a little bit shorter. The reason why I put these in is because I had one sitting around, so I ordered another one. It's going to be more lengthy here, this the output here of the servo here. So what I did was I used a small little washer inside that sits as like a spacer between the arm here and the gear there. So that's how I got it. Otherwise it's gonna hit there and touch there. So I'm gonna lock up everything right where it's at. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like. So again, make sure your bolt is gonna drop dead, bolt is gonna drop dead, everything looks dead center. Thank you for watching.